Are you freaking kidding me? I mean, is this a joke? I just finished recording a video and I just sat down to start editing it. And it was about all of these insane nominations that Donald Trump has already made. And then I turn on my computer and see that he has just nominated Matt Gaetz to be Attorney General. Are you freaking kidding me? I think we know now that Donald Trump is specifically picking people that are not qualified and are the worst people you could possibly pick, just as an enormous FU to everybody. That is why he's picking these people. Yes, they are sycophants and they're loyalists and they'll kiss his ass at every turn and they'll do whatever the hell he wants them to do. But it's more than that, because there's lots of people who are willing to do that. There are lots of people who are far more qualified than Matt Gaetz to be Attorney General, than Pete Hegseth to be the Secretary of Defense, than Kristi Noem to be the Secretary of Homeland Security, than Tulsi Gabbard. I just saw Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence or something like that. Are you freaking kidding me? This is a giant FU to America. That's what this is. This is a who's going to stop me. I'm going to nominate whoever I want, however unqualified, because what are you going to do about it? And just to prove to you how thoroughly I control the Republican Party, none of them are going to say boo about it. In fact, they're not even going to require nomination here or confirmation hearings, because I told them to go on recess, and that's what they're going to do. I'm going to install these people without the Senate. So F you, America. That's what this is about. Right? This is more than just picking crazy people. This is picking crazy people specifically to say F you to America. All right. Wanted to say this. Now, please watch the rest of this video, which I had recorded before I found out about this insanity. Please enjoy. Just as we expected, it looks like the second Trump administration is going to be even more of a clown show than the first Trump administration. Unfortunately, it's a dangerous clown show. Now, I've got several things I want to discuss here today. Let me begin with this. You've probably heard the news that Donald Trump has made his pick for Secretary of Defense. Hands down, one of the single most important positions that he will fill. And for that position, he nominated a co-host of the Fox and Friends Weekend Edition. It is utterly unbelievable that the American people freaking elected this guy. So he's nominating Pete Hegseth, I guess is his name. This guy is like everyone on the MAGA right, an utter and complete clown. Now, I know he has some military experience. He is or was a captain in the National Guard. I don't know what his current status is, but he at least was a captain in the National Guard, which is wonderful and all, and we of course respect his service. But to make that person the Secretary of Defense is like taking the manager of the shoe department at the local Paducah, Kentucky Walmart and making him the CEO of the company. This is an absolute joke. But you know what? This is not surprising at all. We know that Donald Trump doesn't take governing seriously, and he doesn't know any responsible people for the most part. Those kinds of people parted ways with Donald Trump long ago. So the only people he really knows are the crazies. And he did this in the first administration, where he watches Fox News, certain personalities who kiss his ass on that. Well, they all kiss his ass, but he takes a certain shine to, people here and there who are especially gifted Trump ass kissers. And then he has his people reach out to them to bring them into his administration. He did this with many people in his first term. And apparently that's going to happen now as well. And he's made one of the most obnoxious clowns on Fox News, or he's nominated him to be Secretary of Defense. This at a time when the world is an exceedingly dangerous place. We have Russia and Ukraine, and I reported on this recently, that situation in Ukraine is so serious. Well, of course, we all know it's serious, but Putin apparently was seriously considering using tactical nuclear weapons against Ukraine. And according to Bob Woodward's new book, the reason he didn't, or one of the reasons he didn't, was because the Biden administration gave him a very stern warning against doing so. Secretary of Defense, the current Secretary of Defense, a man who's actually qualified to be Secretary of Defense, a former 4-star general, Lloyd Austin, picked up the phone and called his Russian counterpart and said essentially, we know you are considering using nuclear weapons and there will be severe consequences to you if you even think about it. To which his counterpart replied, I don't take kindly to being threatened. To which Secretary Austin replied, Mr. Minister, I am the head of the most powerful military in the history of the world. I don't make threats. So that was the posture of the Biden administration towards Russia. What do you think the posture of the Trump administration is going to be towards Russia? And what if Vladimir Putin wants to use nuclear weapons in Ukraine? Is there going to be somebody who gives Putin a stern warning in the Trump administration? Is the Fox News clown going to give Putin or the Minister of Defense a stern warning? I seriously doubt it. In fact, all those stern warnings are going to come from the opposite direction. It's going to be Putin who's going to be picking up the phone. It's going to be his defense minister, Sergei Shoigu, I believe his name is. It is they who will be picking up the phone and calling our people in the Trump administration and giving them the what for. But this is what the American people voted for. When you elect a clown, he's going to fill his administration with other fucking clowns. And that's exactly what we're getting. So we have that. And of course, Hegseth isn't the only clown that Trump is nominating. You know, Kristi Noem, the South Dakota governor, I believe. This woman who looks like a demented Barbie doll with all of the work she's had done on that plasticized face of hers. This is the woman who bragged in a book about shooting their family's dog because it had a lot of energy. It was a freaking puppy. This woman is now going to be in charge of Homeland Security. You know, in a healthy republic, not that many years ago, if a president had nominated clowns like this for important positions like this, those nominations would get shot down in the Senate. But of course, we know that's not going to happen. Now, there's been a good development today. Senate Republicans chose their leader, the majority leader, since Mitch McConnell is choosing not to put himself up for leadership again. And Donald Trump wanted the detestable Skeletor-looking motherfucker, pardon my language, Rick Scott of Florida to be the Senate majority leader. If you don't know who Skeletor is, by the way, look him up and look up a picture of Rick Scott. They're twins. Anyway, he wanted Rick Scott because Rick Scott just is promising to be as subservient to Donald Trump as possible. Donald Trump wants the Senate to go into recess so that Trump can just recess appoint all his cabinet positions and others. And Rick Scott got out there and just promised to be as subservient to Donald Trump as possible. He promised that he would put the Senate in recess and let Donald Trump just do whatever he wanted. Absolutely disgusting. But Rick Scott did not get elected majority leader. And let's be honest, the only reason that didn't happen is because the vote is a secret vote behind closed doors. If this was a vote on the record so that Donald Trump could see how everyone was voting, Rick Scott would have been elected unanimously, because there's not a Republican in that body who would dare stand against Donald Trump. But a lot of them don't want to go along with all of this. And if they get a chance to vote in secret, they will make their opposition to Trump's picks and things that Donald Trump wants to do known through their secret vote. But since, the Senate and the House are public bodies when it comes to voting on legislation, those votes have to take place in public. And so that's where Donald Trump completely owns them, because they are never going to oppose Donald Trump in public. Anyway, so we have that. We have the clown show being nominated. Oh, yeah, also I forgot about Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk. Donald Trump has apparently appointed them to head a department that doesn't actually exist. The Department of whatever the hell he called it. It doesn't matter. It's not a real department. It's in charge of cost cutting and finding savings in the government. By the way, you don't need a department of any size to do that. It's not exactly conservative to create a new bureaucracy to figure out how to save money. Anyone else see the logical tension there? Doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. You don't need to create a new department of whatever size and scope to find cuts. All you got to do is have a cabinet meeting or send out a memo, an executive order to your cabinet officials to say, I want you to do a complete review of your departments, and I want you to get me a list of ways that that we can cut 3% out of your budget or 5% or whatever it is. And I want that submitted to me in 6 months or something like that. That's all you got to do. And these departments can do an internal review and make recommendations about cost savings. That's all you have to do. You don't have to create a new freaking department to do this kind of stuff. It's a joke. But you know what I think this is about? Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are too crazy even for Donald Trump. Or maybe Donald Trump just doesn't like them or whatever. He doesn't want to make them an official part of his administration. So he makes up this bullshit, non-existent department that they're going to be co-heads of, I guess. And in fact, this department has a time limit on it. I think it's like 18-month time limit or whatever it is. But I think this is a way to throw them a bone, but get rid of them at the same time. Here, you do this. Yeah, I'm really interested in your cuts. And then as soon as it's over, they're out of there. They're going to squirrel them away in some janitor's closet in some executive building somewhere and, slap a paper sign on the door saying, this is the Department of whatever the hell. And yeah, that's where they can toil away in secret to find all these cost savings. And Donald Trump won't really have to deal with them. And at the end of their little 18-month stint, they're out of there. That's what I think what is going on. Trump doesn't want anything to do with these people. And to that end, came across an article today, NBC News. Let me read just a little bit of this. This is about Elon Musk already annoying the shit out of Trump and his people. Because you've seen that he's just pretty much been holed up at Mar-a-Lago since the election. And they write this. Musk has been so aggressive in pushing his views about Trump's second term that he's stepping on the toes of Trump's transition team and maybe overstaying his welcome at Mar-a-Lago. This according to two people familiar with the transition who have spent time at the Palm Beach, Florida resort over the past week. The sources said that Musk's near constant presence at Mar-a-Lago in the weeks since Election Day had begun to wear on people who've been in Trump's inner circle longer than the tech billionaire and who see, man, I'm tongue-tied today, and who see him as overstepping his role in the transition. The sources spoke on condition of anonymity because they're not authorized to speak publicly. Quote, he's behaving, by the way, I usually turn off my ringer and notifications and stuff, but I forgot. Apologies. He's behaving as if he's a co-president and making sure everyone knows it, one of the people said of Musk. And he's sure taking lots of credit for the president's victory, bragging about America PAC and X to anyone who will listen. He's trying to make President Trump feel indebted to him. And the president is indebted to no one, this person added. I wonder if this person is pretending to speak, without permission of Trump, but in fact he's actually speaking at the direction of Donald Trump. Let me see what this is about. I don't know what's going on here. Elon Musk is in for a rude awakening. He thinks he is, Trump's right-hand man right now. He's going to be kicked to the curb so quickly. He has served his purpose for Donald Trump. And he is now going to learn the lesson that anybody who has been paying attention to Trump at all would have learned a long time ago if they're not insane, like Elon Musk is. That Donald Trump doesn't care about anyone. He only pretends to care about people to the extent that he can use them to his benefit. And once you're no longer a benefit, he has no use for you. He doesn't care about you. He's already gotten Musk's money. Musk helped him win. God only knows in what ways he helped him win, but he helped him win, and he served his purpose. He doesn't need Musk anymore. And look, as weird as freaking Trump is, Elon Musk is in many ways a hell of a lot weirder. This is one seriously bizarre dude. And I seriously doubt Trump can stand him. So he's going to be shown the door right quick. He's going to get his little broom closet office to head that phony department. But that's as close as he's probably going to get to Trump. Unless, of course, Trump needs money. Then he'll dial up Elon. But other than that, Elon is... he's going to learn this lesson. But, it just shows you how stupid otherwise smart people are. Obviously, Elon Musk is a brilliant man in some ways. Dumb as a post in others. I mean, if you've ever read his posts on Twitter, on X, the platform that he owes, if you didn't know that he was this genius level, tech billionaire guy, you would read some of his posts and go, this guy's a blithering freaking idiot. Now, he might know a lot about his subject matter expertise. Those things he might know a lot about. But in other things, he demonstrates that he's a complete fool. And obviously, he hasn't figured out anything about Donald Trump, but he's about to. And then finally, I'll end with this. Mexico. Mexico's government on Monday signaled that it planned to hit back with trade restrictions of its own if President-elect Donald J. Trump follows through on his threats to impose sky-high tariffs on Mexican exports. If you put 25% tariffs on me, I have to react with tariffs, said Marcelo, whatever. I can't pronounce his name. Doesn't matter. Anyway, of course this is going to happen. Mexico is making this clear, but every country is going to react in this way. When you slap tariffs on other countries, on their exports, they are going to slap tariffs on our exports. We import a lot of things from Mexico, all kinds of products, including agricultural products. A lot of the fruits and the vegetables that we eat come from Mexico. And I know a big reason that so many people voted for Donald Trump, despite him being a rapist and a criminal and a fraudster and just a downright disgusting human being. They overlooked all of that because they were unhappy with the price of eggs. Well, wait till they see how unhappy they are with the prices of pretty much everything once Donald Trump slaps his tariffs across the board on all imports. Let's see how much they like those prices. You cannot save people from their own stupidity. The problem is that we're going to suffer right along with these idiots. But hopefully they learn a lesson. My fear is that they won't because, as I say, they're idiots. And but to the extent they do learn a lesson, it's on us to make sure they get that message, right? If Democrats take the position that Joe Biden did over the last 4 years, if they take that position in the next 4 years, and what I'm referring to is this position that, oh, we don't really have to say anything about anything because the people will just figure it out on their own. Like with respect to the economy, we don't need to talk about the economy, educate people on the economy, how it works, how it's getting better, the things that we're doing. They'll just see that it's better because it is better, and they'll figure it out on their own. Well, that was fucking stupid. The American people, by and large, are blithering idiots. They're not going to figure out anything on their own, including who to blame when prices go through the roof because of Donald Trump's tariffs. When that happens, Donald Trump, of course, will take no blame for it. He will find some way, as ridiculous as it is, to blame Democrats for the rising prices. And if Democrats take the position that, oh, the American people will never believe that, they'll figure it out that this is all Donald Trump's fault. If they take that position, I guarantee you they will believe whatever nonsense Donald Trump tells them. So it is incumbent upon us to tell the truth each step of the way about what is going on as this economy goes into the toilet, as it almost certainly will if Donald Trump does the things he says he's going to do. Of course, there is a chance that he doesn't do any of this stuff because the man's a liar. And so who the hell knows? But if he does these things, he's going to tank the economy. And the morons who voted for this guy need to have their noses rubbed in this mess that they created. Like a dog that takes a dump on the rug, we need to rub their freaking noses in it for the next 4 years. They need to own this. They need to be embarrassed, humiliated, so that they never make a mistake like this again. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Follow the Romano Report on Facebook and TikTok, and I'll talk to you again soon.